I'm going to talk about what autism is all about. So autism spectrum disorder is a condition in a child that normally makes them not to be able to communicate. They are not able to interact with other kids or people around them. And they have, it's called spectrum because it affects children in different ways. And that is when I made that research, I found out that, these are the symptoms that my first two had, but it affected them in different way. Like for my first child, I can say it's things he was doing was kind of like overwhelming, but not as much as the way I'm seeing in my third child. My second son was very mild, so I now see that it affects them in a different way. And then I realized that, that the symptoms and what the child would do is what was specified on the research that I made: hyperactivity, tantrums, restlessness, different things. So that's, that I saw that was what I went through with my first two kids. And then what will I say? Okay, I have known about what autism was. So I enrolled him in the school that knew about it, where the proprietress was like a professional, And she told me that she had to do some courses in the United States of America. And then I was so happy, oh, good. Finally, somebody have, got to know what was wrong with my third child, and thankfully, my first two has overgrown it. So nobody can see them and say they are autistic. So the journey started. At that time, my boy was 4, I think maybe 4+. And so I was happy I enrolled him in the school. And then, because I had wanted to watch him in that school and see that they can accept him. And then I now enrolled my first two kids because it was still the same primary school. So I enrolled them the next 10. So life was beautiful. Yes, thank God. I have put them in a school that knows what autism is all about, especially for my first two kids. But at least it's a normal school, but still accept, special kids. So it's mixed up. And so it was really I was like, hands up. The thing about knowing what the problem you are having it's not even going to solve it for you. You just know it. And the thing about me knowing about what autism was all about, I can say it didn't really help me, because at that time they're just trying to tell me that this is a lifestyle. This is how the child is, because that's what the proprietor kept on telling me. And somehow I started relaxing. Okay, they can take care of him. They know what it is, so they're able to handle it. But each time that I come to pick the child up, the tantrums were heavier than I could ever think of. I didn't really expect that. And once they start throwing out tantrums, they're all like, do they rub him on the head? So it was kind of worrisome. So I still went to God in prayer, but you know what? It was as if I was now depending on, the teachers there, the therapists, the proprietress, and I wasn't getting any better condition, from him. It was like, okay, that's how it's supposed to be. So it got a time when I had to go to the proprietress. She asked that I should come and see her, and then she was with another lady, which is from Portuguese, like a white lady that was assisting her in the school. And then they told me that there's something they want to tell me, that I need to take my child to psychiatric hospital. So they noted the doctor I'm supposed to see there. So they gave it to me on a piece of paper. So I took it. So I said, what do you want me to do? Take my child to a psychiatric hospital for what? And they said that I need to go there. I should stop doing superwoman, so that I can get some relief, and stuff like that. So I said, that was when I now knew. I said, you want me to medicate this child? They said, so the proprietor said, why am I just still proving that, I can do it, that I need my life, and I need to live my life, ask her, let it be, just go there, get him medicated so you can have your life. And I was just like, I don't believe in medication. I was like, but you told me you're a professional. You told me you can handle my child. I just think, if he's really disrupting your school, why don't you try look for different activities, that he could do. I told her about my child. I said he doesn't stay one place, but the one thing I do is that when I give him one thing, I give him another one. He gets bored with another thing, I give him another one. I said, can't she try it? And she was like, please, that she was giving me instruction. So I took it. Then I didn't, do that. Because I've done researches about how when they give your child medication based on the child's hyperactivity, it's not going to cure the child of autism. So what it's going to do is that it's going to make the child's brain, to be dull. So, every activity that happens in the brain, is from the brain that you can communicate, from the brain that you can see, it's from the brain that you can be able to do different activities. So it's going to, make your brain, dull. And the thing about that, when I went further for the research on medication, it said that at the end of the day, that child is going to be a dullard, and the person will be like, will not be able to learn, learn the normal educational skills that the child is supposed to learn. And the more you give, as the child grows, the child is going to need more medication. So a long time I have known about that. And then thankfully, having a mother that has so much faith in God. And when I told my mom was like, God forbid, what kind of thing is that? So I didn't, take the instructions. So what I did was, I was still taking him to school. And at the time, the proprietress that was so friendly with me, she wasn't really that friendly, she just felt, you are disturbing me. But I knew that, what she really wanted was like, okay, let her have 3 kids in her school. The 2 are fine. So if I can take out that one, that was fine for her. So it happened like, there was a day I was in my sister's, still living with my sister, and I went to the bank. I had dropped my kids in school, and the next thing I knew was like, my sister called me and said, and it was around 10 a.m. You're dropping a child in school at maybe 8:30 a.m. And then you suddenly hearing that they brought your child back. And I'm the one that do the school run, so nobody does it for me. And, I was doing everything by myself since my husband was in UK. So, and when I got the phone call, I was like, who brought my child back from school? And the brothers are still in the school. And then the next thing I heard was that it was the driver that brought him back, and in this big school van, that a small boy was put inside there, and he was bundled back home. All they did was like, they just asked my first 2 kids, where do we live? To show you that, I don't use the school bus for my kids. And they told the driver. And that was how this proprietress, bundled this little boy inside the school bus and told them to take him home, and that she has given me instruction on what to do for my child, and I did not want to accept it. So when I heard it, I was in the bank. I was like, am I going to leave what I'm going to do? And this time around, I had to call a friend that is filled with faith, and she told me, I was just ready to go to that school. You feel like you want to make trouble. Why would you bring my child back? He didn't tell me anything. He just bundled my child, and it's very risky leaving that child with that driver alone in the car. So my friend said, no, I cannot act right. If when I'm angry, I should allow the school to be over. So when I'm picking up my first 2 kids, I can go, and then I should just not say anything. I should be calm. So that was how I went home, and I saw my boy. And the funny thing was that the house help that was there at my sister's place said when they dropped my child in the house, that he was still running after the bus when the bus was leaving, running after the bus like, you can't bring me home. My brothers are still in school. Still want to go back to school. He was running and the bus was here and he was crying and crying. So I really felt bad, but well, in my mind I said, no problem. I'll know what to do. So to cut the story short, I had to take my children all the way from that school, and I started another journey of trying to put my child in a school that was accepting as he is, and also a school that that they have trust that this child is going to get better with time. So I'm trying to make it it wasn't easy because at this time I was alone. This time it's just like to speak to my husband on the phone. It's not like we are trying to figure out things together on how to help my third child. It wasn't easy. Your child, how it is with having your child around you and always thinking for your child, what's going on, his mindset. And I kept on telling God. So that was when I made that decision that I'm not going to allow these people to, tell my child that, that autism is a lifestyle. It's not funny. I wasn't finding it funny, like when I now saw the way that proprietors, treated my child. So I just knew that for them, they're just like, oh, they're managing it. And it's way far different from the environment where I was, where the teachers, they just thought that it was a character. When you find out that you're thinking something is a character, that means you are training that child in such a way that, that the character will become better. And that is, one thing that we don't really know, that's how, these children can come out of it, and treat them, and have a mindset that's, that's how they are supposed to, be the normal and independent child as God has ordained them to be. You must back up yourself with the Word of God. There's always something about the Word of God. Even at the time for my third child, when I see the symptoms of everything that he's displaying, I had to do it like a timetable, like a table. Like how when you write something on the left side, something on the right side. So when I put on restlessness, I look for the verse that I'll use to nullify that restlessness, and I write the Word of God and I speak about it. Another day, if he displays another term, I write it down and I look for the Word of God concerning it. So the Word of God is power. So I want to encourage someone out there that in Psalm 34 verse 8, he said that the Lord is close to the brokenhearted and he saves the ones that are crushed in their spirit. So be encouraged. God is near to you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. He's there with you in that journey, and that journey is going to be beautiful, and you'll be at a very nice and lovely destination and a testimony. God bless you. Thank you for watching this episode of the Defeating Autism podcast. I trust that you have been blessed. Here is my book, Defeating Autism, where I share my journey in fuller details. To get a copy, send a message to the number showing now on your screen or click on the link in the description box. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I look forward to seeing you in my next episode. Till next time, God bless you.